Broadcasting to you live from the Orion spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, no longer Los Angeles, California, to be pseudo-specific. My name is BrianEngelman. Today is Tuesday, August 26th.
Broadcasting to you live.
2025. And this right here, I had to make a note. This right here is the T-Dam Daily Show here on the New American Media, because the old American media has failed you. Thank you so much for being here. There is another scheduled service disruption sometime today between 7:30 and 4 o'clock. So I said, you know what? I'm going live. I'm pulling a Bill O'Reilly. Forget it. We'll do it live. See, look, I'm capable of cleaning up the language from time to time. On today's show, we're going to discuss flag burning. Do you agree or disagree that flag burning should be illegal? Type it in the comments. By the way, hit like, hit subscribe, however you are watching today's program. We're going to discuss no cash bail. Just letting all these junkies and dirtbags, these violent monsters, back out on our streets. Why in the world did this ever happen? And what do you make of President Trump signing an executive order to put an end to no cash bail? Just letting all the bad guys out to keep causing bad things to happen, keep causing problems. Does that ever happen to you? You start talking and like there's three lines of thought. They're like maybe parallel, or they're kind of start at the same spoke, but they kind of go out different directions. And there's three ways to resolve the phrase, to resolve the thought. And then they all kind of shuffled together and come out as one phrase that doesn't really make sense. Well, that happens to me all the time, but that's how my brain is wired. That's how I think. And when you talk for hours a day like I do, you're going to get various versions of that. So we're going to discuss those issues and more on today's episode of the T-Dam Daily Show, a division of the Agree to Disagree show. That's what you subscribe to on the podcast, on Spotify and Apple. Get the Agree to Disagree show on Spotify and Apple. But here we go. The T-Dam Daily Show begins now.
Your guide to the truth, thenewamericanmedia.com.
Thank you all so very much for being here. Special reminder, we're going to be launching season 2 of Strictly Football. That is with myself, Mike Barra, and probably Jim Mitchell this season. Maybe a special appearance or two from Izzy, we shall see. Ezrael Robinson perhaps will join us talking a little bit of football. Maybe it'd be fun to bring a few different people in so they can specifically highlight their team's game, since they watched it closer than anything else. I think he's first and foremost a Cowboy fan. Mike is a Seattle Seahawks fan. I'm a Cleveland Brown fan. Jim Mitchell, what is his favorite team? He's a gambler, so I don't know if does he have a favorite? He lives in Vegas, but I'm trying to remember, does he have a favorite team? But that will be coming to us real soon. Also, the Ohio State Buckeyes begin their title defense and we will do strictly Buckeyes shows. We floated the idea with John Odermatt from Lions of Liberty, Finding Freedom podcast, Meme Wars, and maybe we would do a Big Ten show. We'll see. Kind of like a college football top 25 recap show or a Big Ten show. We'll see. We floated the idea. It sounded good. And it's like, it's just more stuff to do. And it's like, yeah, but we're going to be watching the game anyway. We're going to be talking about the game anyway. We might as well, So stay tuned for those sports related programs. All right, let's jump into the news. All right, President Trump. I mean, he has a certain way to him now, doesn't he?
You really want to be asked to go. I hate to barge in on a city and then be treated horribly by corrupt politicians and bad politicians like a guy like Pritzker.
They got music in the background. I don't want this getting flagged for some sort of copyright nonsense, but what he's talking about with Pritzker in Illinois, I think what he's talking about here is the National Guard.
You ought to spend more time in the gym, actually. This guy is a disaster. Gavin Newsom's a disaster. When we saved Los Angeles. You wouldn't have been able to have the Olympics in Los Angeles. You're barely able to have it now. They did lose 25,000 houses to a fire that should have never occurred.
25,000 houses? Could that possibly be the right number there? I mean, we know the Palisades fire was bad, but was it really 25,000 homes burned to the ground?
Because they didn't let the water come down from the Pacific Northwest.
And they've been... Yeah, that's been the complaint. They're blocking water from traveling down freely, and just a lot of it's dumping into the ocean. Why aren't we filling reservoirs all over the place and have a series of backup supply chains? Come on, this is 2025. You're telling me we can't engineer a smarter area? And I don't mean that we need to be all Agenda 2030, Agenda 2020. I'm not saying everything needs to be dense housing like we're living in shoe boxes. You'll own nothing and like it, but come on now. Isn't there something in between? Couldn't we redesign better cities and catch all the water that we can and just build massive reservoirs that we keep? Why couldn't we have something where in case of emergency, I've had a problem with California wildfires for 20 something years. I lived out in Los Angeles. I moved out there during the Obama. No, geez, oh my God, was that during George W. Bush? Oh my God, that feels like it was an eternity ago. Whew. But I've always wondered why they couldn't. Oh, there's fires raging at the coast. What should we do? I don't know. Get a drinking straw, put it in the Pacific, and put out the fire? Well, it's not that easy. Yes, it is. You can engineer anything. Yeah, but how would we get the water? You'd put a pump. Yeah, well, how would we you get a generator? Yeah, but how could you figure it out?
Which you guys don't want to write about. You really want to be asked to.
So there's a lot of cities now. It's DC now. I think Chicago's coming up next. Will Cleveland be after that? All these big blue cities are just out of control with crime. And so you're seeing different policy decisions. There's music here. So different policy decisions are being set than the first term to address this. And they're putting rapid response units so that within an hour, you can get National Guard any big city to quell a riot. Like they did this before. They might try to do something like it again. You damn well better have a better plan. Rapid response teams. Going into DC, I think they said 9 days without a murder now. Wow. You mean a presence and some law and order means that dirtbags aren't going to do dirtbag stuff? Wow. Who would have ever thought that? Instead of doing the exact opposite on every major issue like the Democrats have promoted. Oh, there's criminals? No bail. Just dump them back out on our streets. What? Why? For fairness. Fairness to who? Fairness to the residents of the city that are being harassed on a daily basis by these monsters? No thanks. Lots of music there. All right, so this post here, let's talk about licensing fees and propaganda. We've had this talk for decades. President Trump puts out a post. Why is it that ABC and NBC fake news, two of the absolute worst and most biased networks anywhere in the world, aren't paying millions of dollars a year in license fees? They should lose their licenses for their unfair coverage of Republicans and or conservatives. But at a minimum, they should pay up big for having the privilege of using the most valuable airwaves anywhere at any time. Crooked journalism should not be rewarded. It should be terminated. Yeah, the mockingbird media, the lying legacy media have been getting a free pass to push their divisive, destructive, deep state Democrat agenda for decades. And it is totally time that we change that. Why do those organizations that care zero about telling you the truth and they care 100% about pushing their nonsense, all meant to destroy Republicans and improve and increase the reach and power of the destructive Democrat Party? The Democrat Party breaks almost everything it touches. It's been said that Republicans are the party of no ideas and the Democrats are the party of bad ideas. Now, maybe that was the case at the time. MAGA is different than the traditional Republican Party. The traditional Republican Party acquiesced. They rolled over. They took the subservient position. They were like, well, okay, I guess you're calling us bad names. We want to be friends. We want to be friends. It's like there's no making friends with the enemy. They hate you. They want you destroyed. There is just no doubt about that. So are you going to spend all of your time and energy trying to do something that you're not going to be able to accomplish anyway? You're not going to make friends with these people. So you might as well at least win. You might as well come up with your own ideas and push back. And so we'll see what happens. Why aren't these companies paying licensing fees? And they're completely one-sided. They're completely against 60, 70, 80% of this country. That's just a little much. So keep your eyes peeled on this, the ABC, NBC fake news story. I think there's going to be legs to that. All right, let's talk about Chinese students in America. Marjorie Taylor Greene put this out. She said, we should not let in 600,000 Chinese students to attend American colleges and universities that may be loyal to the CCP. And it's been said that every Chinese citizen has an obligation to provide intel to the CCP. If they're working at companies, if they're at colleges, if they're inside of America, they have an obligation to provide intelligence to the CCP. That's been said over and over. I'm open to a fact check or some interpretation on that, but my understanding is every Chinese citizen is essentially a military member, and you must report back things that could help the homeland. If that's true, if that is confirmed, if that is accurate, why are we letting a bunch of spies into our country to be educated by us to destroy us? It just doesn't make sense to me. Back to Rep MTG. If refusing to allow these Chinese students to attend our schools causes 15% of them to fail, then these schools should fail anyways because they're being propped up by the CCP. Why are we allowing 600,000 students from China to replace our American students' priority opportunities? We should never allow that. And yeah, those are 600,000 spots that Americans could be leveling up. They could be educating themselves, getting a skill set where they could go out into the universe and prosper. MTG continues, and we need more trade school graduates anyway. Trade schools are a great alternative and produce the essential education and training for the most needed jobs in America with very high starting pay. All right, then. How nice is that? Do you agree or disagree with limiting 600,000 Chinese students at American colleges and universities? Type it in the comments. What say you? I would agree. American universities should be for American students. You should have a very limited number of other things. A very limited number of other folks.
One of these people.
All right. Let's talk about this one. Here is Charlie Kirk discussing Letitia James, the one that said, "Vote for me and I will destroy Trump." Take a listen.
Going to be disbarred or penalized for abusing their law licenses. I mean, is there anything that we can do? I mean, what they've put President Trump through, is there any accountability for these savages, for these maniacs, what they have done to President Donald Trump?
The test case is Tish James, because she was so flagrant that, remember, she was tweeting out what Trump owed each day just to poke the bear some more, to gloat, because of the interest rates that were going up. By the way, Trump should have been making money off of that $175 million that was up on bond. He could have invested that in gold, Charlie. He would have had a return on that investment. Trump is owed interest. This is really important. Trump should be paid interest on all the money he had put up on bond that was just sitting there for a year and a half. He's got to collect on that. But Tish James is the test case. She should absolutely be disbarred. She should probably go to prison. I'm not an attorney, so I don't know for sure, but that would be something that should be in the realm of possibilities. There's no way she should be allowed to practice law at all in this country after this. And the mortgage fraud stuff, which is very legitimate, that's going on.
Judge Engeron should be disbarred. Letitia James should be disbarred. Alvin Bragg should be disbarred. Fannie Willis. Actually, I have a question about Fannie Willis. The people that engage in the weaponization of our government need to realize that they can't do this type of stuff. So yes, a formal process and substantial evidence of serious ethical or professional misconduct can occur. Fannie Willis, Fulton County District Attorney. Yeah, she can be disbarred. These people need to be made an example of, or else we're going to have more of this. Top of the morning to you, sir. Chris checking in down in San Antonio, Texas. How's the weather down there? How are the churros? Don't worry. We'll get back to knowing. We'll get back to knowing San Antonio is more than just churros soon. It'll be the land of Wembanyama. Victor Wemby. We'll call him Wemby. But hello, thank you for finding us today. Yeah, we're talking about Letitia James. Will she be disbarred for what she did? Her role in weaponizing the federal government against the major opposition for the regime that was in power at the time. I mean, you simply can't allow that.
That she's also getting investigated for that.
And also all of the mortgage fraud stuff. There's so much mortgage fraud. Also, all mortgages are frauds. You know, roughly speaking, if you buy a house for $100,000, it's going to cost you $300,000 to pay it off. They triple the price of the thing that you bought. And almost everything that you pay every single month, it's front loaded into all the interest. So only the bankers are winning in those first few years. I mean, you're paying down scraps. You know, banana peels and eggshells. You're getting scraps. The bankers get 80, 90, 95% of everything you're writing on that mortgage check. You're throwing it away. Hi, Mr. Ben. Thanks for joining the show. Do you all have cats or dogs that join you when you watch shows, when you're working at home? Chris, how are you watching? Are you at home? Are you at work? You're Central Time. You're an hour behind, right? What's your daily routine look like? I've been considering doing my shows earlier in the day. And today there's a scheduled service disruption. So I'm just trying to get ahead of it, knock out the show before things get weird. But yeah, speaking of knockout, I think Letitia James knocked herself out. The chickens are coming home to roost, it seems.
So she's the test case. If they get her, then a lot of dominoes could fall afterwards.
Well, and time out. We got to take a step back, everybody. It's not just Trump. Tish James was the heat-seeking missile that took out the National Rifle Association.
Yes, that's right.
She's a very dangerous.
She took out the NRA, the thing that defends our Second Amendment rights.
Very treacherous.
That's a traitor. If you're working against the Bill of Rights, if you're working to disarm the people and infringe upon our rights to defend ourselves against monsters.
She's a very, very good operator. She's not like Fannie Willis, who's just a clown court jester who's going to be an MSNBC contributor next month.
Great point.
No, Letitia James, she's a navigator. You see, she's a vicious actor in this space. And she's the dark triad. She's completely nihilistic, she's angry, and she's very talented. You do not want those three things together. She's an angry operator, but I'm not going to. I don't want to get too far. I don't know if she's intellectual.
No, this is important, and it's in the book. I cover all this stuff as well.
She's effective. Yeah, Alex Marlowe, please. The NRA thing you can't forget. Alex Marlowe.
No, she is not to be underestimated. She's also got incredible amounts of time on her hands. This is her mission from God, in her view, is that she feels like she's put on this earth to take out Donald Trump, as sick as that sounds. But that's what she feels like she's here to do. And before that, it was the NRA and other conservative targets. She is one of the most political operators in the entire lawfare superstructure, which is why I call her the test case. She's the one that is the most flagrant, the most obvious that she is politicizing her perch in our system of justice in this country. There is the law and order apparatus, our system, our judicial system.
There is so much that is wrong with our judicial system. Did we realize just how unqualified some of these judges could be? I made this proposal yesterday. We have a Supreme Court. 9 members on the Supreme Court, I believe. I was just confused at 12 Angry Men from that movie. On a jury trial, but I think it's 9 in the Supreme Court. A lot of 6-3 decisions, 5-4. I proposed a U.S. court yesterday or the day before. I think we need one representative, maybe a retired judge with a pristine record, or maybe not pristine, but like maybe the charter members of the U.S. court would have to kind of look at their track record and go, hey, based on the analytics of this umpire's work behind home plate in this baseball game, it looks like they have a large percentage of victories, a large percentage of getting things right. This is someone that should qualify and, yes, sit on the court. But I think when people do egregious acts, they should be able to get nominated and brought up for a review where you actually have to defend your ruling on something against the court. Whether it's simple majority, 2/3, maybe it's 67%. I don't know. I'm open to it. But maybe if 2/3 of the U.S. court, one representative for all 50 states, if 33 of 50, I guess 34 would take you up to 68%, past the 2/3 margin. If you are judged by your U.S. court system of peers to have done something so egregious, it's unforgivable. We're talking the no cash bail, letting monsters out on the street. You can't defend your actions. Letitia James engaging in obvious lawfare, violation of civil liberties, violation of election laws, violation of also election interference, treason, a coup, sedition. It's all kind of wrapped together in this grand conspiracy that we keep unpacking each day. But I would like if this can't go to a Supreme Court, how about a U.S. court? And if you look at a judge going, I don't know what qualifications you have or what you think you're getting away with, but we are revoking your license right now. You cannot operate anymore in that capacity, in that career. You've done something so egregious. You were nominated. It was petitioned to the court that you did something so egregious. We need to have a kind of 50 people take a look. We don't want to know anything but the facts of the matter, facts of the case. People need to be disbarred, and there needs to be a mechanism that does that. If you can't defend yourself, You need to be called up in front of a court, a U.S. court of 50 people. I don't know how often it meets. It's an idea that I'm working out, but why not? We have rogue judges like Engeron. We got bad district attorneys like Letitia James, poisoning our country, ruining our country. And I'd like to see a mechanism to help stop that.
System is purely a tool of Democrat power if she is allowed to continue to operate in this space.
They cannot allow you can't reward these people with more of the same.
Should not be, after what we've witnessed. And this clear rebuke that she's issuing cruel and unusual punishments in the middle of an election of the standard bearer of the opposite political party. That's all you need to know about who she is. But the more you dig, the scarier it gets. And she will continue to do this unless she's held accountable.
When are these people going to be?
That feels right. Without justice, you're going to ask for a redo.
You can't make this up. When Trump...
Okay. Here's the difference between the right and the left, the Republicans and the Democrats.
Trump wins an election, danger to democracy. When the Supreme Court rules in a way that they don't like, danger to democracy. When the Electoral College doesn't work in their favor, danger to democracy. Every time they lose, their solution isn't to persuade more voters, it's to change the rules so that they can't lose again. Meanwhile, they are openly writing think pieces about abolishing entire branches of our system. They've normalized the idea that if voters don't give them what they want, the system itself must be reimagined. They're not protecting democracy, they're trying to rig it. The cultural dismantling is already happening, okay? Redefining words, erasing traditions, and normalizing radical ideas.
I just had that conversation, had a garage sale. And this guy said he bought a bunch of old math books. He goes, now, I don't know if you know, but like the way they're trying to teach math now, it's a mess. I bought some old math books. He goes, I sold 10 of them for $100. Like they had a value. And it's like the way people used to teach math made sense. The way they're doing it now it's crazy. If it's not intentionally confusing, I don't know how somebody thought it was better to teach you math that way. I had someone try to show me this new math. I'm going, you lost me on algebra anyway. At some point, like, yes, I could theoretically understand and extrapolate. Well, if it's to the X power, what number? Like, I get some of the basic components of how you're supposed to look at a math equation and analyze it. But when it really started going down into the weeds, I'm going, I don't know. Like, why am I like, this is a totally different language. Like, why can't we just get the core concepts here? But yeah, even books and teaching things, changing definitions of things. So I think the printed word and movies and music, tangible hard copies of it, I think it's going to be more important than you realize. I think there could be a day where, you want everything to become digital. That's great. But guess what? Things are rewritten and edited in real time, and you'll never even know that a previous version was out there. You think you had a Mandela effect before you go, I swear, I thought the Fruit of the Loom had a cornucopia in it. Didn't they have a cornucopia and it was spilling out fruit and it was Fruit of the Loom? That was nope, that was never the logo. You're like, what? Nelson Mandela? I thought he died years ago, didn't he? Wait, no? Wait, yes, no? Wait, what? What did I remember? If you thought the Mandela effect was weird before, wait till the printed word starts to be completely phased out. You'll own nothing and like it. Oh, wow, it's so great. I pay all this money to use Spotify. Yeah, that's cool if Spotify's around. What if it's not? All that money, why weren't you buying your favorite music, supporting your artists? I don't know. It's just something to consider. The old ways of the world weren't all that bad. But yeah, changing the definition of things. I mean, it's the Democrat way. Just look at the term. Look at what vaccine used to mean and look what they tried to change it to a couple of years ago. Weird, huge red flags.
But the systematic dismantling, that is the end game. Change the courts, change the voting rules, change the balance of power so that it's mathematically impossible for Republicans to ever win again. So here's something to think about. Maybe the real threat to democracy is the side that keeps trying to rewrite it. Let me know in the comments, do you think that the left's push to reform the system is about fairness, or is it about making sure that they never lose again?
Yes, about fairness or making sure they never lose again. I think it's obviously about making sure they never lose again. We know that. All right. Let's bounce over here to X and see what's going on. All right. Unholy Hoax, working on audio visual, doing weddings, local commercials. For a hobby, I record, mix, and master rock music. That's awesome. Good stuff. Unholy Hoax, did you know that I'm a musician? Do you know that I have a catalog of music out there? Take a look at our X feed at American_media_. Let me put this up on the screen. Just a reminder, however you're watching us today, a couple quick notes. Number one, we are trying, in Unholy Hoax, I'll ask this of you and maybe anybody else. We are about 400, where's the page? 417 pennies in the wishing well short of opening up Super Chats on YouTube. We need 417 pennies in the wishing well. What does that mean? An hour watched, I think with one click of volume. So it has to be, you have to count the hour watched. So make sure the volume is up to like at least one, inaudible mostly, but in the background. Grab a device or two, a desktop or a laptop, and just put it out there. Go to the New American Media on YouTube, watch some of our previous shows, find some long shows and just let them play. Go to some of our greatest hits and watch. I mean, we have almost 1,900 videos over 14 years, millions of views. Find any interesting interviews with politicians, musicians, actors, just people you recognize. A lot of politicians, a lot of pundits. I like to talk to I like to talk to my peers. I can't believe you said you're a peer with Ben Swan. Man, anyone covering the news is a peer, yes. Ben, of course, is in the intro to the program. But yeah, please consider helping us, because unlocking Super Chat can help get another revenue stream back for the New American Media. It's been a slow go. It's been a tough time dealing with all of the YouTube, Google censorship. But if we can get one aspect of that back, that would be fantastic. And we're within striking distance. We're trending in that direction. We just need to get over the finish line so we can apply for it, see if we can get it back, and then just get our regular monetization back. I think that's 1,000 more pennies after that. So each hour watched is a penny in the wishing well to Chris and everybody else out there. If you could find it in your, and like I said, just grab a secondary device, go on your smart TV, go onto the YouTube app, go to the New American Media, press play and let some stuff play. Play a playlist and just let it play all day. Anything you can do to hook a brother up, I would appreciate it. But also, however you're watching us, look at the bottom of the screen in blue and white. We have a lot of different places that the New American Media exists. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Truth Social, Rumble, Odyssey, Twitch, Kick, DLive, and YouTube at the New American Media. Hit like, hit subscribe. We're on Telegram and Signal at TNAM and TNAM Chat. We're on X at American_Media_. And our podcast is the Agree to Disagree Show on Spotify and Apple. Also, as I'm about to show you here, as I scroll down American_Media_ on X, pinned to the top of our page is our Patreon link. Thank you to everyone who has signed up to be a Patreon subscriber. We usually post about twice a month. I think the cheapest you can do is like $5 a creation. So it's usually like $10 a month. But you could do $100 a month or $1,000 a month. A few of you guys, and it would be a total game changer, a complete game changer to the universe for people to sign up that way. But anything you can do is appreciated to everyone who's currently there as a monthly contributor to the New American Media. And thank you to everyone who will be in the future. But we also have tip jars out on Venmo and Cash App. That's just my name, BrianEngelman, scrolling at the bottom of your screen. And then the PayPal, if you want to shoot something over that way, the email address to use is fuzzinstallment@yahoo.com. Fuzzinstallment, INSTALLMENT @yahoo.com. Scrolled at the bottom of the screen. All right, cool. So check that out, all of those things. And let's get into the news. So what is going on here? Daily Mail says a girl is 17 and she's S'd to death. Geez, I probably said the wrong word. Everything's an algorithm. You can't say certain words. So as you read things, you have to retranslate and read things differently. It's such a weird way to operate in the world. Yeah, unholy hoax, you demand, sir. Yeah, like I said, in 1900 videos, there's a lot of cool shows out there. John Brenneman, what's up, John? John Boy's been leading the charge. John, we're 400 and where are we at? What did I say? 417. Yes, 417 pennies away from getting our super chats enabled on YouTube. And it's been a disaster on YouTube. They've shadow banned our content. They've stripped our monetization. It's been a train wreck. But there is a metric that we can aim at, and I'm going to go and get it. John has been a superstar. Thank you, John. Chiming in from Florida. Thanks for being here. Yeah, we went early. Have another planned outage in the area. So thanks for being here. All right. Daily Mail says this girl is S'd to D while calling cops to report being followed on her bike ride home in Holland. As cops arrest an asylum seeker who AR'd a woman just days earlier. Brian Cates says they're asking for help from the public in investigating this attack, and yet, strangely enough, will not publish pictures of either the deceased 17-year-old girl or her accused murderer. What do you call a matrix-like system that has been carefully constructed to facilitate stupid and often fatal shit like this? The Independent reporting police let 45 men who admitted an R walk away with a caution. Over 1,500 adults have been cautioned for S assault. No, if you're assaulting people, like that's capital punishment for me. You don't get to steal someone's innocence. That's not an accidental thing, or I don't know. You could envision a lot of things that you could be like, oh, that's unfortunate, and yeah, you did make a mistake. I mean, we've all kind of been. I get it. I there before the grace of God go I. I mean, I'm not saying. I'm just saying. But that stuff is madness when you're sexually abusing people. And it's really bad in England right now. Elon says the authorities should face severe consequences for failing to jail a violent rapist who had already been arrested twice. This is that no cash bail type theory. Oh, let me put the comments up on the screen. Sorry, guys. We'll get it up here. Yeah, John Brenneman is working on it. Yeah, thanks to John. He also sent out was that an email? How did you send that to Carolyn Levitt? Did you email it to her? Did you send it on X? I think it was on X, right? Asking if we could get our press credentials over there at the White House. So really, the community of teen-ammers, by the way, you are the new American media. It's a citizen in his phone. You get to report the news. You are the media now. That's what I envisioned all these years ago. This isn't about me. It's about us. It's not about YouTube hating me. It's the fact that they hate you. That's why it resonated so much with me when President Trump said, they're not coming after me. They're coming after you. I just happen to be in the way. And I can agree with some of that. I do concur with President Trump. The big tech overlords, and it really has become a health and safety issue because the real news that keeps us healthy as a democracy, or rather as a constitutional republic, it depends. It simply must start and stop with the open discourse and dissemination of ideas, even the ones that you may not personally agree with. So I will back President Trump on that. They don't hate Brian. They hate you. They hate the viewer. You are the one that the big tech overlords the deep state perpetrators of the Project Mockingbird media, they hate you. So you supporting someone like Brian and the New American Media is really something that helps you, the person brushing your teeth in the mirror that you look at, like Michael Jackson sang about. I'm asking for the man in the mirror. I'm hoping social media will change. Okay, so look, you don't understand why I'm laughing maniacally, other than the fact that I'm a maniac. But I think I just came up with a skit idea. So I'm gonna do RFK karaoke. RF karaoke. I could have, but I've been wanting to do a Maha minute. Yeah, I want to do a Maha minute where I just kind of come in and talk as Bobby Kennedy for 60 seconds. Do like a series of shorts. Anyway. Yeah, the UK has fallen. I don't know what comes next, but now they're... Well, I'll get to... I have a couple UK stories. All right, let's get to President Trump here. T. Wolf says, did you know that the last time I got arrested, I had to be bailed out so I could go to rehab? If they had just let me out on no bail, I'd be dead by now. No cash bail never worked, and it led to more recidivism. And I think there is some truth in that. Let's listen to President Trump.
Key driver of the disorder we see on city streets all over America. Catch and release system allows criminals to keep going back out onto the street and reoffending. What this executive order does, it charges your attorney general with identifying jurisdictions all over the country that have cashless bail policies, and then it withholds or revokes federal funds and grants that are flowing to those jurisdictions to ensure that we're only supporting the people who have reasonable common sense policies around crime.
So what area does it cover?
Potentially anywhere that has a cashless bail policy. So some of the largest cities, some of the most left-wing states in America have adopted.
Almost all of them, right?
Illinois would be a great example of that, sir.
Oh,
Chicago's next.
they have a great cashless bail. You don't even have to go to court sometimes. No, Illinois, I love that state. It's a great state, but it's run so badly by Pritzker. They threw him out of the family business and he becomes governor. Now he wants to run for president. I don't think that's going to happen. Okay, we'll sign right here, right?
Sir.
Go side by side. Compare the auto pen. Nobody really knew who was the captain of the ship. We know it was Obama and his team moving the marionette puppet strings of that corpse, the C-3PO Joe Biden. Don't look at Ashley, but don't look at the diary. There's nothing there. There's nothing in Hunter's laptop either. Come on, man. Come on. 51 intelligence officials said, come on. You know the thing. They said it had all the classic earmarks. Oh, wait, I'm slipping into Bobby. My Bobby Kennedy and my Biden are a little similar. I need to work on that, and I'm not going to do it right now. But do you see the difference comparing President Trump to whoever was running the country for the past 4 years? Press conference after press conference. All right, what's going on? What's this thing? Tell me about it. Explain this, explain that. All right, here's why we're doing that. It feels like an adult is in charge. I can't believe you're calling Trump an adult. He's such a petty little man. He's a stand-up comedian. He's a shit talker. He's a guy that grew up with the mafia and the Teamsters and the unions and the construction workers. Yeah, he knows how to talk shit. He can talk shit with the best of them. And he's the funniest president we've ever had. Reagan was great. Trump's funnier. Even during Trump's first term, all through COVID, it was like a press conference every day, a couple hours. Here's what we're learning. Here's what we're doing. Do you believe he said to drink bleach? He's such an idiot. He's trying to get us all killed. He never said to drink bleach. That's a hoax. I can't believe the amount of people. Next time you accidentally encounter a conversation with someone who's been clearly indoctrinated and brainwashed with propaganda, ask him. Maybe just ask him. Did the president say to drink bleach? Did the president call Nazis fine people? Like, just ask him, was January 6th an insurrection? Just ask them a couple of basic questions and see if they are out to lunch and they're living in a parallel alternate dream world. But I just, the dichotomy, the difference, the stark contrast between Biden and Trump, I mean, it's just getting things done and fixing obvious problems versus stealing everything that wasn't bolted down and no accountability. It's night and day. Such a difference.
So important. And this isn't Republican, Democrat. This is, and by the way, most Democrats agree with us. But this is just, we got to bring our country back.
Yeah, I had such a problem in Los Angeles. There was a known troublemaker, junkie, that was going around, I mean, breaking into everything he could, stealing everything that wasn't bolted down. Just a meth junkie. And he had been arrested several times, and we're just begging, please get this guy off the street. He's creeping on our properties. He's trespassing. He's breaking into the laundry rooms. He's breaking it, stealing all the quarters. He's going through people's cars. He's breaking into homes. Like, this guy's going to get shot in self-defense. Like, you got to get this guy off. They finally arrested him. He came, grabbed a hammer and attacked the cop with it, got arrested. And you're like, oh my God, thank God this guy's gone now. We've been terrorized every day for how long because of this one junkie. Thank God they dropped him back into our street that fucking night. He wasn't even gone for a day, and he was back to terrorize us again. And I went, I can't stay here. I cannot live inside of this insane asylum they call Los Angeles. I can't do it. Cannot do it. So I thank my lucky stars I was able to escape. And we've got to get rid of this cashless bail thing. And you just got to keep the junkies. You got to get them treatment program. Get them into treatment right away. And maybe just say, look, you can stay here in jail, or can we move you over to this treatment center? Like, man, I don't know how far you fell, but bro, you ended up in jail. Lady, how did you end up here? Come on, move you to a facility and get you cleaned up. And yeah, maybe if you've committed enough crimes, you got to stay in jail, but like, we got to get you cleaned up. Not everybody can be released back out into the general population. All right, so this is the press conference prior to signing that. Here's President Trump explaining why no cash bail doesn't make sense and why we're getting rid of it.
Up there in uniform, they're standing, and they're screaming at him an inch away from their face, and then they start spitting in their face. And I said, you tell them, you spit and we hit, and they can hit real hard. It's a disgusting thing. I've watched that for years, for 3-4 years.
And by the way, screaming into somebody's ear on its own can be assault. My unholy hoax, you work in audio. I mean, if your ears, like people that use their ears for a living, I mean, you can get permanent damage, tinnitus and worse. Screaming into somebody's ears with a megaphone, that's an assault. You spit on someone, that's not free speech. That's an assault. It's like, hey, I got whatever pathogens and sickness and disease that I might have. Now, we got to be careful, because that's the same rationale that they used to say, well, we have to have COVID lockdowns. You can't go breathing your death on people. I do get that. But spitting into somebody's face is different than existing as a free-range human. If you're so scared that you're going to catch something, you can stay home. You're perfectly welcome to stay home. No harm, no foul. But, come on now.
I've watched them. The police are standing, and they're told, don't do anything under any such, so this, and you can see they want to get at it. And they're
because, can you believe Trump in this press conference? He's making a call to violence. No, he's saying these radical Marxist mobs, these rent-a mobs, whatever it is, Antifa, BLM, Black Bloc, Occupy, hashtag Me Too, hashtag No Kings, hashtag whatever the group is at the time. You don't get to assault people. Wait, didn't you support MAGA? Didn't they assault people in that insurrection on January 6th? Yeah, that was a mostly peaceful protest. And then some people did some things. And a lot of people got sucked into that. And what happened with those magnetized doors? And what happened with Ray Epps? And what happened? So many questions about January 6th. If we could get a proper investigation into it, I'd be appreciative of that. But I've said years and years and years and years and years, these cops that are just absorbing the abuse, just get them, grab them, pull them in, let the other guys swarm them, get them arrested. Next. Oh, you got so, fuck you. Okay, you're next. And not just protesting, but you don't get to be in the streets. You don't get to spit. You know. I've never understood why they don't just grab the ones that are in the mix trying to get rowdy. It's like they consider these paid protesters, these ideologues, the traitors, the ones that the Democrat deep state deployed and employed allegedly back in 2020 to take over our country, take over our cities. Those people, a lot of them needed to be arrested, and they just let it happen. Oh, shockingly enough, it continued. All you gotta do is get get the worst of the worst. Get the ones that are the biggest troublemakers and watch the rest. Yeah, charge them with disorderly conduct. Don't let them out. Actually, put it on their record and go, hey, maybe there could be some diversion program. Maybe we don't need to put you in jail. Maybe you need to spend 100 community service hours painting over graffiti, getting the power washer and cleaning up these homeless encampments that have all this disease and filth. Power wash the sidewalks, power wash the walls. Be an asset to your community instead of a detriment. Or you have to stay in jail until you work enough hours to get let out. It's known that a small number of people are responsible for a majority of the problems. No, I'm not. Don't go there. I didn't say that. And definitely don't type that without using coded language. You know what I'm talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. What are you talking about? Oh, you know. Wait, are you really saying? No, I'm not saying that. I was saying the other thing. Now I don't even know what you're saying. Exactly. Man, I'm very sniffly this morning. Was I petting my cat today? I love cats, but I'm allergic to them. And then some days I just. Anyway, yeah, it's time. Unholy Hoax is like, yes, I agree. It's assault. It is. John is saying, get the executive orders codified. Stat. Johnson and Thune. Yeah. What are we waiting for? I don't like waiting. Go, go, go. You're burning the midnight oil, or, you're burning you're burning daylight. Get to it. Anyway, he continues.
Standing there and people are spitting in their face and they're not allowed to do anything. But now they are allowed to do whatever the hell they want. This dire public safety crisis stems directly from.
And, that's where Trump gets himself into trouble. He's like, I said they can do whatever the hell they want. Well, that's not a good sound check. It's not a good clip because, see, he's unleashing the police force and the National Guard to abuse our citizens. And they're going to twist this little part of what he's saying. They can't do whatever they want. They can stop people from abusing them. I think he needs to lean into that.
But now they are allowed to do whatever the hell they want. This dire public safety crisis stems directly from the abject failures of the city's local leadership. The radical left city council adopted no cash bail. By the way, every place in the country where you have no cash bail is a disaster. That's what started the problem in New York, and they don't change it. They don't want to change it. That's what started it in Chicago. I mean, bad politicians started it, bad leadership started it, but that was the one thing that's central, no cash bail. Somebody murders somebody and they're out on no cash bail before the day is out. We're going to end that in Chicago. We're going to change the statute. I spoke with Pam and Todd and everybody. We're going to change the statute, and I'm going to have to get the Republicans to vote because the Democrats are weak on crime. Totally weak on crime. They don't know why. They want to stop because they get mugged too. But we're going to change no cash.
Yeah, everybody's a target. Like it's not just saying this is someone else's problem. It's society's problem.
Bail. We're going to change the statute and get rid of some of the other things, and we'll count on the Republicans in Congress and Senate to vote. We have the majority, so we'll vote. We don't have a big majority, but we've gotten everything, including the great, big, beautiful bill. Got that done, and that's one of the greatest things that's ever happened to people in this country. They're starting to figure it out, how good it is. Biggest tax cut in history. So many things. But we'll...
Okay, that was the end of that clip there. Yep. You simply cannot let...
Up there.
Nope, I didn't
in
press
uniform,
play.
they stand.
Didn't press play. This is just... So this is reported. National Conservative said no cash bail enables alleged double murder. Female thug Autumn Romero allegedly obliterated a bicyclist and a pedestrian with a stolen car full of drugs in New York City. Why is this relevant? Why is this timely? She was out on no cash bail. White male Kevin Crickshank, 55, and Chinese female Mei Kwok, 65, were killed. This video is just, watch this here. Just sitting here on a bench and just, my God, obliterated. Just awful. You know, you get the worst of the worst off of your damn streets. And you don't let them out to keep causing more problems when no cash bail.
So I'll start signing the executive orders. To me, this is a very, very big deal. One of the executive orders has to do with cashless bail. That was when the big crime in this country started. And I can tell you who did it, when, but I don't want to do that because others followed pretty quickly. But that was when it happened. Somebody kills somebody, they go in, don't worry about it, no cash, come back in a couple of months, we'll give you a trial. You never see the person again. And I mean, they kill people and they get out. Cashless bail. They thought it was discriminatory to make people put up money because they just killed 3 people lying on a street. Any street all over the country, cashless bail. We're ending it, but we're starting by ending it in D.C., and that we have the right to do through federalization. So
there you go. Keep an eye peeled on that. Armstrong Williams here. Talking about soft on crime Democrats. They've been pushing this no cash bail stuff. Let's listen to this take.
You've probably heard by now, but Trump might have tackled the root of recurring violent crimes. He eliminated no cash bail, which is a policy that has been pushed for years by soft on crime Democrats, which allows criminals arrested for serious crimes to be released back on the streets, often before the victims have even left the police station. He's eliminated no cash bail policies, not only in D.C., but nationwide. And any jurisdiction that refuses to comply will lose federal funding. The results in D.C. are undeniable. In just 11 days under Trump's leadership, there have been 0 murders. Authorities have arrested well over 1,000 offenders and confiscated hundreds of illegal guns from kids off the streets. This is proof, America, that when you get tough on crime, when you back the police, communities get safer. Let's keep going. Fight, fight, fight for our communities, our inner cities, and for our citizens. Mr. President, fight, fight, Fight.
People want safe communities.
You probably heard by now, but
Tommy Robinson says, are you new to the UK? If this offends you, then feel free to fuck off back to the intolerant shithole you came from. You don't belong or deserve to be here anyway. Have a great day. Is that too harsh from Tommy Robinson? There's this movement that you're not allowed to have, what do they call it? The Union, is that the Union Jack? No. Just the, I don't know, what do you call that flag? But there are people saying that you shouldn't have your flag, have the flag of your country out. You shouldn't even use it. Does that make sense to you or anyone else? That there's something wrong with your own flag? I don't think there's anything wrong with your own flag. I think there's something wrong with the people that say you shouldn't be able to have your flag out. Who in the world is pushing that stuff? Well, here's the England flag. I guess, what do they call it? England flag. A young man knocks on a patriot's door and tells him his England flag is offensive to the neighborhood.
It's what we want to be showing around to everyone.
Sorry. I'm not laughing at you, but you're worried about the English flag in the English country garden.
Well, yeah, it's
Hey, now this might be a skit. Is this a skit or is it not?
what we want to be showing around to everyone.
Sorry. I'm not laughing at you, but you're worried about the English flag in the English country garden.
Well, yeah, it's offensive.
Our flag can be offensive in England.
Yeah, there's plenty of people in this neighbourhood who would take offence to that just being up right now.
Are you having a laugh or something? Where do you live?
Yes,
Where
mate.
do you live?
I'm from England, man, but
There you go. There's
I'm
your flag.
No, seriously, that's
proud.
offensive. It's not the 1950s anymore, mate. We can't be having the England flag.
Yeah, and I'm not Alf Garnett either, but that's my flag, and this is my country, and this is my garden. I'll put up what I like.
It's what we want to be.
That feels staged, but I think it's articulating the point. Elon put it up. Elon Musk posts in support of Raise the Colors campaign. For those of you in the back who are not aware, John Brenman says, spot on, Tommy, and Tommy has been attacked for trying to defend his nation from an invasion. Make no mistake about it. The Obama doctrine has been to flood sovereign nations across the globe with non-residents to permanently change the demographics in the voting bloc, to overthrow nations. It's a coordinated campaign with NGOs, big money backers like the Soroses and Soros-affiliated groups, allegedly, to go in and permanently change. Minneapolis, Dearborn, Michigan, places in Texas. Oh, there's a whole bunch of spots you could point to, and look at all across Europe. Look at all across Europe this is happening. Trying to overthrow the nation and change who they are. Change the core of what they're about. This Jonathan Wong says, only in England would an Englishman be refused entry into an English pub for displaying an English flag. What?
Why let you in because you've got England flags on?
Yes.
Not letting people in because of England flags. Why?
Because it's a simple rule by management.
Simple rule by management.
I request that you don't video our staff, please. It's a kind request.
Nah, man.
Oh my gosh. I request that you not videotape our request. Who is this person? Yikes.
I request that you don't video our staff, please. It's a kind request.
Nah, I'm asking you why you're not letting people in with England flags in England.
I'm happy to serve everyone as long as we're in normal clothes.
No, I just want to put it online and show that this pub, what is this pub?
The Manor.
The Manor
I'm happy to serve
and their management are refusing people with England
We are
flags.
not involving ourselves in any of these process.
It's not a protest wearing an England flag.
You're like the one from, Trump. You know, his bird.
I'm happy to let
She's
you
quite
in,
pretty as
but
well.
take it off.
So I have to take my England flag off to come into an establishment in England. Madness, innit?
Jen's happy to serve you again, but
Do you not think there's an issue with that? Like,
It's not
can you not understand why people might be upset by that?
I can't-
What if I had an England flag shirt on? Would that be alright?
Gents, again, I'm
Irish.
happy to serve you.
If I had an English flag, would that be alright? If I had a Palestinian flag on, would that be alright to come in?
yeah, you'd be straight in there.
Oh, you wouldn't stop that, would you?
I'm happy to serve you if you'd like.
Ah, you can't answer the question because it's difficult for you, isn't
I can
it?
ask you to leave if you want to.
I can leave, but I just wanted to highlight that this.
It's kind of painful. Like, they really won't let you into an English pub if you're wearing an English flag. I don't understand what's going on. Other than you're being played and your country is being stolen from you. Do you have any fucking spine, England? What are you doing? Who the fuck are you letting run your country into the ground? And it's not about any one particular group. It's about non-English people invading your country and telling you what you can and can't do after that. Can't wear the flag. Yeah, I'm going to wear the flag even harder.
But not let anyone.
By the way, coming up, I'm going to tell you a story about the flag burning. Trump now had an executive order on flags. We're talking about flags today.
In with an English flag, which is absolutely ridiculous, really.
I
in
feel
England.
like you're causing a bit of an issue, and I'd like to leave before I vote, please.
Yeah, I'll leave. I'll leave.
They've
already been, yeah. I'm leaving in my own time, don't worry. It's trespass, I'll leave slowly.
There's no violence, there's no nothing.
Well, this pub here will not let people in with England flags.
You are good.
Here in Castle Bromwich, Farmhouse Inns, the Manor Farm. Yeah, we're leaving. It's not a... Yeah, don't put any hands on, man. Yeah. Step back, we're going. What, you're going to make everyone who's got an England flag leave, or just me?
I've requested that you don't film you, I'm still filming me. I'd like to leave the premises.
Yeah, it's not illegal to film in the UK, but you can trespass me. I'm leaving, we're slowly leaving.
You can't do that, you can't stop someone filming.
Well, I can literally stand up there and film from there. It is public accessible, yeah.
James, please, if you make way backwards, I'd really appreciate it.
You have to. You serve me a drink, I'm allowed to drink.
It's just a weird thing, trying to cuck your own citizens in real time and just wondering. You know, I've complained. Malcolm X talked about the modern liberal being one of the biggest problems that we have. And I call out the wimpy whites, the ones that have allowed themselves to get cuckolded, who have allowed themselves to be shamed for things they didn't do, quieted for fear of all the things. It's the wimpy whites that have ruined America. And that's really the Democrat Party. That's all that's left over there. No, I know they get a smattering of people who have been brainwashed and mentally abused, pushing the divisive racial hatred that the Democrat Party promotes. I call that abuse. I've called that abuse for a long time. It's mental abuse. But yeah, it's the effeminate boys and the wimpy white women, the triple dub wimpy white women and soy boys. You've allowed yourselves to be conquered and invaded and overthrown. Where's your spine? Where's your gumption? England, what's going on with your wimpy whites? But yeah, some people are starting to say, what are you doing? We're not going along with this. I'm very curious to see what happens with England, if they have a spine or not. Because they've been told they're not welcome in their own country anymore. Allow the invasion to continue. How does that resolve? We'll see.
Yeah, I'm going.
How to do this?
Yo, bro, don't be taking no hands on, bro.
I'm not putting no hands.
Don't be silly. We're leaving slowly. Trespass. It is no set period of time, mate. I know the rules. So wounded for you. The intent to come and ask you why you are not letting people in with England flags in England. Yeah, because you're a lefty scumbag. That's why, ain't you? Lefty scumbag. It's your own country. You don't even like your own flag. You vile. You're disgusting, love. Should be ashamed of yourself. Bye, you little lefty soft twat. Won't let anyone in because of England flags. And this car park's accessible to the other area, so we're off your property now. The drive shared, yeah. Now you can stand here, bro. The drive shared, innit? This is off her property now.
We're moving slowly. Don't tell you how fast.
Well, if you don't push back, you lose. And the wimpy whites have run the Republican Party into the ground for a long time, too. Yeah, guess what? I've started calling out the wimpy whites. I'm calling out my own people. I don't consider people to be my people just because they have a dick. Oh, they're my people. That's a guy. Yeah, hashtag me too. Me three. Hashtag me three. I can't believe you're making fun of abusive women. No, actually, I strongly defend keeping men out of women's spaces so that they're not abused. And I call for capital punishment for people that abuse women. For the S predators. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that should be public. That should be pay-per-view. You should be able to watch that stuff. $9.99. Here's all the people that harmed kids this week. String them up. Florida has capital punishment for abusing a kid. That should be standard across the globe, really. So yeah, I'm calling out wimpy whites. I don't identify with white people. I don't identify with anybody. I don't give a shit. I am American. I was born here. I'm a Native American. Oh my God, did you hear? He just culturally appropriate. No, you said you can't say that. I'm an Indian. He just called himself an Indian. So did Pocahontas, Elizabeth Warren. Indigenous. I'm indigenous to America. I'm an indigenous American. Born here. Of 2 American parents. I'm indigenous. But I don't see anybody on my team just because of their genitalia, their skin color, where their parents' lineage may have been from prior to being both born in America. So, yeah. I will call out whoever I want to call out because I don't play tribal politics and it's always about my team, my team, my team. There's things that are right and there's things that ain't right. Allowing your country to be invaded ain't right. All right, what's this one here? President Trump. This is. I want to end on this one. Let me end on this one. This is a nice one. So let me buzz through because I do see my time might be running up here. Kristen Mag here says, let's clear this up. I was opposed to Trump's executive order at first, but then I read the full text. It doesn't criminalize burning the American flag, and it does not infringe on our freedom of speech. It criminalizes flag burning only when it is intended to incite violence or when it is accompanied by other lawless actions. Okay, I mean, it's a little vague, though, and that's what we said. It's kind of a vague interpretation. Because, well, let's talk about the flags. Sean Davis says, when every single city, state, and federal jurisdiction which investigated or charged or imprisoned someone for burning or defacing or giving a dirty look to a rainbow flag or any other flag admits wrongdoing and pays restitution to its victims, we can have a discussion about whether burning an American flag is free speech. Truck burnouts defaced Del Rey's LGB street mural twice since 2021. Oh my gosh, there were tire tracks on a road. A man pled guilty to defacing a sidewalk, a crosswalk. Oh my gosh. A crosswalk has been defaced. But it's okay to burn the American flag. Some flags are more equal than others. What did they say in Orwell's 1984? Some flags are more equal than others. Here's President Trump talking about the flag ban. Well, here, let's listen in his own words. Let's call it what it is.
Lastly, sir, this is an executive order on flag burning. It charges your attorney general.
Would you listen to this? This is very important. Flag burning. All over the country, they're burning flags. All over the world, they burn the American flag. And as you know, through a very sad court, I guess it was a 5-4 decision, they called it freedom of speech. But there's another reason, which is perhaps much more important. It's called death. Because what happens when you burn a flag is the area goes crazy. If you have hundreds of people, they go crazy. You could do other things. You can burn this piece of paper. You can, but when you burn the American flag, it incites riots at levels that we've never seen before. People go crazy. In a way, both ways. There are some that are going crazy for doing it. There are others that are angry about them doing it. Do you want to discuss that?
Sure. So what the executive order does, sir, it charges your Department of Justice with investigating instances of flag burning, and then where there's evidence of criminal activity, where prosecution wouldn't fall afoul of the First Amendment, and instructs the Department of Justice to prosecute those who are engaged in these instances of flag burning.
And what the penalty is going to be, if you burn a flag, you get 1 year in jail. No early exits, no nothing. You get 1 year in jail. If you burn a flag, you get, and what it does is incite to riot. I hope they used that language, by the way. Did they?
Yeah, incitement.
Incite to riot. And you burn a flag, you get 1 year in jail. You don't get 10 years, you don't get 1 month. You get 1 year in jail, and it goes on your record. And you will see flag burning stopping immediately, just like when I signed the Statute and Monument Act. 10 years in jail if you hurt any of our beautiful monuments. Everybody left town. They were gone. Never had a problem after that. It's pretty amazing. We stopped it. But this is something that's, I don't know, in a certain way, it's equally as important. Some people would say it's more important. because the people in this country don't want to see our American flag burned and spit on, and by people that are, in many cases, paid agitators. They're paid by the radical left to do it. You talk to these people, they don't even know, half of them don't even know what they're doing. They say, I don't know, they gave me money to do this. I see the same things that you do. They're bad people. They're trying to destroy our nation. That's not working, because I think our nation now is the most respected nation anywhere in the world by far. You saw that with the European leaders on Friday. You saw that with NATO, where they agreed to go from 2% no pay to 5% fully paid up, trillions of dollars paid, where they respect your president to a level that they jokingly call me the president of Europe. They call me the president of Europe, which is an honor. I like Europe, and I like those people. They're good people. They're great leaders. And we've never had a case where 7 plus really 28, essentially 38 countries were represented here the other day. 38 European countries were represented. European and other countries were represented, and it was a great meeting. But your country is respected again. I say it all the time. 1 year ago, our country was dead. Everybody said it. We had a dead country. We were not going to survive. Now we have the hottest country anywhere in the world. So it's an honor to be involved. And this group has a lot to do with it, right behind me. Does anybody behind me have any?
So there you have it. Do you agree or disagree that the burning the flag should be how would I ask the question? Agree or disagree? Burning the flag should be illegal. There should be penalties for burning the American flag. Agree or disagree? Type it in the comments. Remember when the left had you convinced that saying something like that, unholy hoax, was a bad thing? They had you so scared to speak reality. It's like Born on the 4th of July. Love it or leave it. Get out if you hate America. John says agree. And remember, we felt shame to say if you don't love America, you can get the hell out. Go back to where you came from. You said go back to where you came from? That's racist. Huh? Any race can be from any place. If you ain't from here, get the fuck out. How dare you? Read that in Greta Thunberg voice. How dare you? Unholy Hoax agrees as well. This post here, American Warrior says something is really wrong in America when people are being arrested for taking down or burning sexual perversion flags. But burning the national ensign is considered to be protected by the First Amendment. Good on Trump for protecting our national ensign. By the way, remember, this is just the deep state agreeing with itself. Hillary Clinton. Trump is just adopting the policy position of Hillary Clinton.
So I hope, Mr. President, that we can pass a law that criminalizes flag burning and desecration.
2006. Ah, yes. Remember Unholy Hoax before there was such a thing called audio? Seriously, who was doing the audio here? What a train wreck.
Law that criminalizes.
By the way, what's with those symbols next to him?
Flag burning and desecration. I agree that this burning, this desecration that can happen to our flag is something that people have a right to ask this body to try to prohibit and prevent.
Prohibit and prevent the burning of our flag. Christopher Rufo says, I'm sorry, but as long as this is the status quo, I'm not going to work myself into a state of hysteria about Trump's executive order on burning the American flag. 15 years in Iowa jail for burning a pride flag. 3 Washington teens facing 10 years in jail after making skid marks on LGB Rainbow Road mural while riding e-scooters. Some flags are more important than others. Glenn Greenwald has a take on it. He wants you to hear from Antonin Scalia, former Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. Look into his passing. Very suspicious under Obama. Probably the single most popular justice among the American right in the last 5 decades, explaining why burning the American flag is vital free speech under the First Amendment and why banning it is clearly unconstitutional. What say you?
If I were king,
2012. Yeah, this guy died at a ranch in Texas under very suspicious circumstances, and Anyway.
Would not allow people to go about burning the American flag. However, we have a First Amendment, which...
Hold on a second. Oh, John, what are you saying about the RFK audio? What RFK audio would you like other than the audio that I would provide to you?
Says that the right of free speech shall not be abridged, and it is addressed in particular to speech critical of the government. I mean, that was the main kind of speech that tyrants would seek to suppress. Burning the flag is a form of expression. Speech doesn't just mean written words or oral words. It could be semaphore. Burning a flag is a symbol that expresses an idea. I hate the government is unjust, whatever.
If you're not sure, then in the end, and no one knows the Constitution better than you do, doesn't it come down to your personal interpretation of the Constitution? If it isn't clear-cut, which it clearly isn't, you in the end have to make an opinion, don't you?
Well, don't forget this person has to be convicted by a jury of 12 people who unanimously have to find that he was inciting to riot. So, it's not all up to me. It would be up to me to say that there was not enough evidence for the jury to find that, perhaps. But ultimately, the right of jury trial is the protection. If I were king, I would not allow people to go about burning the American flag. However, we have a First Amendment.
If I were king. Huh. All right. The Fed's cook says she will continue to carry out her duties and Trump has no authority to fire her. And by the way, I'll lean on Glenn Greenwald when it comes time to talk about issues of civil liberties. He's, like the hardcore libertarians, they make decent points. Sometimes I think they miss the point. They're so rigid. I don't think they're seeing the bigger picture. So yeah, Lisa Cook. James Fishback says, fine, let's take it back to the Supreme Court. That's a 6-3 win. President Trump unequivocally has the legal authority to remove Lisa Cook under 12 U.S.C. 242. I can't fire the money witch. The money witch? She says she's permanent. Joe says this is where the DOJ steps in and criminally prosecutes Cook for falsifying records and sues for civil penalties, maybe. And the Fed, root and branch. So, yeah, she's going to carry out her duties and Trump has no authority to fire her, she says. And we said these damned banksters think that we are their property. They think they own us. We are so... Let me enlargen. Is that a word? Enlargen? We are so ready for a new financial system that isn't sucked dry by the bankster leeches and ticks. This may be an inflection point. It may be. Because the Federal Reserve, like the whole battle of the Fed is brewing. Things are happening, people. So take a look at this. Number 1 is going to play number 2. In Ohio State to start the season. I'm a big sports fan. I will be doing episodes of the Unhappy Hour, so stay tuned. Ohio State has banned Dave Portnoy of Barstool from the Horseshoe for his inaugural appearance on Fox's Big Noon Kickoff per Sports Report. Portnoy will still appear on the program before Big Noon enters the stadium. Buckeyes banned the fan of that team up north. Rupert Lowe MP says our gang inquiry has today reached research detailing 85 local authorities in which the gang-based exploitation of children is taking place or has historically done so. This is one of the most comprehensive exposés of the R gang. Elon says 85 cities in Britain where local authorities were complicit in the R of children. Gross. Check out yesterday's show, which is a sermon on flexibility, plus who runs the world. Flexibility because we had to go earlier than usual because there is an outage and I'm counting down the minutes before I need to wrap today's show. So we will see how that goes. What is this?
First
update on drug prices from the president.
Favored nations, where I'm going to be reducing drug prices by 1,500%, where a pill that sells in Germany for $10 costs $150 here.
Thank you.
Because of the bad and I was all set to do it, and then we had the COVID come up, and I had to focus on that because we had the greatest economy in history my first term. I will tell you that we are going to be doing numbers on the cost of drugs in this country that I'm not talking about a 20% decrease, which would be great. I'm talking about 1,000% decrease. We're talking about where a product would sell for $80 in Germany and $1,300 here. And we're not going to do that. We were subsidizing the entire world, and we're not doing it anymore. I informed the drug companies. I informed the world. And if the world wants to, if countries in the world don't want to go along, then I'm going to put tariffs on those countries, and we'll make more money. But they have to go along with it. So this is moving along rapidly. Dr. Oz is in charge. Bob.
Why weren't we doing this in the first place? We should have the cheapest drugs anywhere on earth in this country. Stop stealing from us. Keep us healthy, keep us fit. That's financially healthy. That's spiritually fit. That's all sorts of things. Here's a report from Wall Street Apes discussing how they're messing up the housing market. Private equity funds.
They buy a whole housing, like a 500 house division, and they're going to get those at a huge discount because they only make 5 models and they buy everything in bulk. We might have had to pay $500,000 for it. They're getting them at $300,000. Okay, so they buy 500
BlackRock, for example,
houses at $300,000. Okay, they put them all in a portfolio. They could flip that through a secondaries market, but even better, they could hold those houses for a year. Don't let anyone move in. Keep it looking like a construction zone. Okay, and then a year later, they sell 3 of those houses that they bought for $300,000 to themselves in another fund for $700,000.
Oh my God.
And that creates 3 comps in the neighborhood. They do one of each of the models. Okay. And now the entire neighborhood, each house is valued at $700,000. And then they're going to turn them into obscene rentals. And simultaneously, they're going to have a $2.5 value on that portfolio to borrow against.
Right.
And every American in that community was just priced out of everything around that community.
They're so smart. Aren't they just so smart the way they do this? They're so just clever the way they do this, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we need a new system. That's gross. JD Vance stopped the UK government from spying on your iPhone. The UK gave Apple 2 brutal options. Either give us worldwide access to every user's data or pay us $10 million a day. Legal experts said Apple couldn't win, and Vance went head-to-head with the UK himself. Take a look at that. JD Vance talking about Gavin Newsom's California.
We had way fewer House seats than we should have. 1, if the Democrats hadn't aggressively gerrymandered, and 2, if illegal aliens weren't counted in the census for purposes of apportioning congressional seats. The best estimates I've seen is that in California, for example, has 5 additional congressional seats than it should have because they count illegal aliens for the purpose of apportioning representatives. Meanwhile, Ohio, my home state, lost a representative. We're literally losing representatives for American citizens in order to give congressional representation to illegal aliens. Republicans are trying to balance out the scales a little bit for basic fairness and for the integrity of our democracy, which the president cares about as much as anybody in the country. We had way fewer House seats than we should have. 1, if the Democrats hadn't aggressively gerrymandered, and 2, if illegal aliens weren't counted in the census for purposes of apportioning congressional seats. The best estimates.
Okay, so that restarted there. That's how they're rigging their power in the country, and it needs to change. It 100% needs to change. I agree. President Trump relieves Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook of her position. There's the post there. There's her Board of Governors. He's removed her pursuant to his authority. And she's saying, you can't fire me. Brian Cates is saying what is about to be forced into the open now that Trump is attempting to fire someone who works for a privately owned banking entity. If they admit he can fire one, he can fire them all. They are all part of the same corrupt system, just as it's a facade that we have fair and free elections in this country. And that's why the commie Marxist scum globalist cult people keep being elected over and over and over again as their big blue cities turn into liberal shitholes. It's also a vile facade that the private family-owned banking entity we've all been taught to refer to as the Federal Reserve sets U.S. monetary policy for the benefit of and to meet the interests of the United States and America and its citizens. It most certainly does not. The Fed does not set U.S. monetary policy to benefit Americans. Keep watching. as Donald Trump continues to draw this vile globalist cult of Luciferians out into the open. Tulsi Gabbard talking with Megyn Kelly. Watch this. There's a lot of good takeaways here. Stephen Miller revealed a massive scandal in D.C. Democrat-run police department has been extensively hiding crime statistics, going so far as reporting homicides as accidents instead of murders. It will all be brought to light. Whoa, this is big. Here's Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook is cooked. She said her home in Ann Arbor, Michigan was her principal legal residence, getting a state tax break and a lower mortgage and insurance rates. And then 2 weeks later, she said her home outside of Atlanta was her principal legal residence, getting a state tax break and lower mortgage and insurance rate. This is mortgage fraud. Andy No shows you a Civic Hotel in Seattle rented by the city since 2020 to house homeless. Well, when it was vacated and returned, the owners found their building contaminated all over with deadly fentanyl and meth residue. Baby that stayed in the hotel died with fentanyl in his or her system. The city enriched to manage the hotel turned taxpayer apparently didn't do anything to prevent drug abuse in the taxpayer-funded rooms. The hotel owners are now suing the city and county. Trump doubles down and says the auto pen pardons are worthless. They should be voided, and every last person pardoned should be prosecuted. All those pardons he gave to some very bad people, very unpatriotic people, very evil people. Looks to me like those pardons are worthless. Here's Elon. Look at this. Dr. Malouf says in Pakistan, a woman, where is this? Pakistan. A woman was R'd, but instead of arresting the R'ist, the Sharia council decided the R'ist's sister should be R'd by the victim's brother. The innocent teenage girl was public revenge R in Sharia law. Are you kidding me? It is not racist to acknowledge that this culture is not compatible with the West. Oh my Lord. You'd think that's a parody post. Mike Benz reminds us, never forget they arrested the U.S. president, his lawyers, his accountants, and his campaign manager, his media allies, and even his valet. Joe Rogan down here saying that he's raising awareness that while the Pacific Palisades fires were still burning, Gavin Newsom was already on the phone calling Josh Green, the governor of Hawaii. It's not a conspiracy theory. It really happened. The governor gave this creepy speech talking about what to do with all the land of these homes that have been burned out while it's still only 6% contained. Madness. Check that out. Evil Texan says, don't forget that they arrested Trump, Bannon, Navarro, Walt Nauta, Giuliani, Jenna Ellis, John Eastman, all sorts of people. All sorts of people. Now they're saying that we're weaponizing justice. Buckle up, buttercups. You ain't seen nothing yet. We have a new chief design officer in the U.S., Joe Gebbia, overseeing the redesign of roughly 26,000 federal web portals that are so obsolete, and there's going to be all sorts of other stuff. Keep your eyes peeled on that position. Chief Design Officer. Experts in Australia are pushing for a new tax on spare bedrooms as a solution to the nation's deepening housing crisis. They argue too many homes have more bedrooms than residents, creating a mismatch in housing. By taxing unused rooms, they believe it would pressure people to downsize and free up more appropriately sized homes for others. Good grief. Hey, newly resurfaced footage places John Bolton and Qatar in 2020, walking along this road, steps from the palace tied to Qatar's elite. With the FBI's raid on his U.S. home, this sighting raises explosive new questions. This guy, Rampage Jackson's son, was banned on kick for beating up a man flatlined in the ring. The fighter could possibly lose his life. He was knocked unconscious and just beaten unmercifully before finally being tackled. This was a horrible video, but everybody's talking about it, and I can't understand what's happening. I guess something happened backstage, and this guy fought with him, but like that guy's life could be over. Keep your eyes peeled on that side. Jenna Ellis might rethink breaking attorney-client privilege to go after Trump and cut a deal with the left to try to hurt him. That might not be your best strategy. General Flynn discusses deep state indictments with Laura Logan and saying a Pennsylvania grand jury is in place and that a bomb is going to come out related to the 2020 election. So keep your eyes peeled on that. And another grand jury in Florida. Electricity prices up. I got other stories to tell you, but I'm going to wrap today's program with one video. And on just so thankful we have the funniest president in American history. This is the final.
One of the things we're going to be.
This is President Trump discussing national parks. discussing the state of our national parks, and he knows a few things about landscaping. Here, let's go on this screen.
Redoing is your parks. I'm very good at grass because I have a lot of golf courses all over the place. I know more about grass than any human being, I think, anywhere in the world.
I'm very good at grass.
Than any human being, I think, anywhere in the world. And we're going to be regrassing all of your parks, all brand new sprinkler systems, the best that you can buy, just like the Augusta. No, it'll look like Augusta. It'll look like, more importantly, Trump National Golf Club. That's even better. But we're going to have all brand new, beautiful grass. Like everything else, grass has a life. Do you know that? Grass has a life. We have a life and grass has a life. And the grass here died about 40 years ago. So we're going to be rebuilding all of your parks, and it's going to happen fast. It's going to go up like a miracle.
Grass has a life. We have a life, and this grass has been dead 40 years.
So you do the job on safety, and I'll get this place fixed up physically, and we're going to be so proud of it at the end of 6 months. But let's say at the end of a year, this place will be maxed out in terms of beauty.
Beautify this nation, and that starts with cleaning up our national capital. So, boo-hoo. Yeah, no, Jenna did. Hey, look at the before and after. You think Jenna Ellis had a rough time? Look at what happened to Victoria Nuland when he let the demons in. All right, everybody, I got to go, and I got to try to get this uploaded onto Spotify and stuff before they shut the power off. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate you. I love you. Follow us in all of the places, the New American Media. And, of course, if anyone wants to throw something in the tip jar, new viewers, old viewers, we're on Venmo and Cash App at BrianEngelman, PayPal, Fuzz Installment at yahoo.com, all scrolling at the bottom of the screen. And then our Patreon link. You set it and forget it. You can sign up $15 a month, $100 a month, $1,000 a month, whatever you feel so inclined to bless us with, so we can keep delivering you awesome interactions on the daily news. Thank you all. I appreciate you. I love you. We'll be back tomorrow, maybe at noon. We shall see. Remain flexible, everyone. To be continued. Take care, everyone.
Your guide to the truth. TheNewAmericanMedia.com.